Hello, everyone. Glad to have you here. My name is Sylvia Stark, and I'm a counselor here at Triton College. Today, we're going to talk about how to care for body, mind, and soul. So let's get started. Today, we will discuss how stress impacts our body and mind, techniques that will help us integrate stress management into our lives. These techniques will include exercise, nutrition, and mindfulness. We're also going to practice mindfulness and breathing techniques together. So how does stress impact the body? So neurologically speaking, stress impacts us in different ways. You might have heard of those folks that stress a lot will have migraine headaches. Usually the migraine headaches are triggered by the nervous system being overwhelmed, as well as various neurotransmitters that are being fired off and affected by the stress response. You also notice that when you're stressed, you experience more depression and anxiety. Again, that has to do with the neurotransmitters that are rushing through your brain at any given moment. And often when you are experiencing stress, serotonin, for example, is affected. The dopamine levels are affected. So you could develop different mental health issues if you are experiencing chronic stress. You may also experience insomnia. So you may feel that at times you're laying in bed trying to fall asleep and you're just not able to because you are ruminating on the various tasks that you have to accomplish the next day, whether it's final exams or things you have to turn in last minute to your professor. You may be going over the day because it's fully packed with activities such as work, picking up your kids from daycare, again, finishing up all that work that you need to do to submit for final grading. And so you may be laying there at night and you may be stressing out and causing these ruminating thoughts will, in consequence, will cause also insomnia. You will also notice that stress will cause digestive issues. So you may remember when you're, let's say, right about to take a test and you begin stressing over that particular exam, you may feel that your stomach begins to growl a little bit. Maybe you may get that sour stomach feel or a little bit of heartburn. You may get some cramping. And that's because the vagus nerve is connected to the brain. So, they say that the gut is like your second brain. And oftentimes when you stress, you really do stress with your gut. So that's another way that the stress can actually impact your body and your digestive organs. Stress will also weaken your immune system. So especially now with the pandemic, you really want to be careful. You want to make sure that you're utilizing various techniques to alleviate stress because stress will reduce your immunity to viruses and bacteria. So very important that you, begin caring for your body, mind, and soul in order to alleviate some of these issues that we're talking about today. Stress also impacts the cardiovascular system. So you do have a high risk of getting a heart attack, for example, if your blood pressure goes up high enough, because stress also will impact your blood pressure. You may feel that pounding heart sort of kind of like in the pit of your stomach. And that's usually because the stress hormones make your heart pump faster so that blood can quickly reach your vital organs and limbs. Stress will also impact high blood sugar. So will trigger actually your liver to release glucose into your bloodstream. So over time, it's put you at risk for type 2 diabetes. So what can we do? So in order to alleviate, to combat that stress that you're really experiencing on a daily basis. So one of the things you could do is definitely movement. So movement of your body. So for example, stretching, Pilates, calisthenics, yoga, So not only does yoga utilize stretching, but also breathing techniques. So it's kind of a body-mind experience. You may also want to maybe pick up some running. Running releases endorphins, those feel-good chemicals that will help you combat the stress. Biking, any type of cardiovascular exercise will help you with um, the issues that stress causes, which is raising your cortisol, raising the adrenaline in your body, which then will cause these different issues to appear and damage your organs and so forth. Also, weightlifting is great, and walking. So you can utilize any of these types of techniques here, movement techniques, to help you get through some of the stress that you're experiencing. Sleep, super vital for your body, mind, and soul. Getting enough sleep, right? So a lot of students right now are overwhelmed. They have deadlines, they have finals. Maybe they're squeezing in 5 to 6 hours max. But in reality, your body really needs 8 to 10 hours to really reset. Sleep will improve your memory. So really important in terms of studying and academics. It will boost your mood. So getting a great night of sleep is so vital, because you are getting those great neurotransmitters pumping throughout the night. You have a lot of melatonin coming in, and then during the day you have serotonin. So you want to balance that, and getting a good night of sleep will definitely balance those neurotransmitters and hormones. A good night of sleep will also strengthen your heart, definitely helps your immune system, and it will also boost your metabolism. Nutrition. So some of the things that really affect your mood are going to be your high sugar, high fructose, corn syrup foods. So donuts, candy bars, even some granola. So sometimes we think we're eating healthy, but sugar is just everywhere. So really reading those labels, right? Really kind of looking at what you're buying in the grocery store will make a difference. So really going for those whole foods, shooting for the vegetables, the meats. So making sure that you're sort of not loading too much on those carbohydrates and those refined carbs. Um, those are definitely are going to alter the way you feel, and you're going to feel this crash. So it may give you some energy in the beginning, so you may feel like, wow, you're flying high, you have eaten sugar, you feel great, and all of a sudden, like an hour, 2 hours later, you're just either needing another candy bar to pick up your energy, or you're just feeling miserable at that time. And maybe now at that point you may be looking for an energy boost, maybe drinking an energy drink, or a cup of coffee or whatever that may be, in order to give you some energy, a boost. So staying away from sugar and high fructose corn syrup is huge. Artificial trans fats, so those are going to be your vegetable hydrogenated oils, right? So corn oil, cottonseed oil, safflower oil, any type of oil that's heated to high temperatures. So fried foods, right, are going to be really detrimental to your mood. They also have a lot of omega-6s, which cause inflammation. So you want to make sure that you are staying away from those types of oils, and fried foods in general. Refined carbs we already spoke about, so those would be like your donuts, your granolas packed with sugar, any type of a food that is just, even some yogurts. If you look at the back of the label, you will see that the yogurt has, for instance, like 20 grams of sugar. So you want to make sure that you're really watching the labels when you're buying products. Food allergies. So oftentimes people don't know that their moods can be affected by food allergies, such as gluten or casein from dairy. Some people are allergic to nightshades, such as tomatoes or eggplants. So really sort of feeling out what's happening to your body, tuning in with your body is key, in terms of finding out what the triggers are. Processed meats, so salamis and hot dogs, and most deli meats that are processed. You want to make sure that you are staying away from that as well. And these are our mood boosters. So fatty fish, packed with omega-3s, anti-inflammatory, great for the brain, great for the eyes. Dark chocolates has tons of antioxidants, has really great, also some nutrients that will boost your brain function, such as magnesium and iron. Um, and it's packed with antioxidants, so it's a really healthy power food. Fermented foods are amazing. They carry probiotics, so they really work on your gut health. And remember, our gut is our second brain, so you want to make sure that you nurture the gut and you feed it really good food, and nutrients. So fermented foods are excellent. You could use sauerkraut or pickles, anything that's been fermented, a good yogurt, minus the sugar, of course. You could add that to your daily meals. Berries, again, lots of vitamins, there, minerals, and antioxidants, powerhouses. Nuts and seeds, lots of great oils, lots of great fats, omega-3s. Again, very anti-inflammatory, and they're also packed with good protein, not too many carbs, so they're again not triggering any inflammation in your body and really combating that stress response by offering you quite a bit, providing you quite a bit of these omega-3s. Green leafy veggies. So your spinach and parsley and dill and kales, watercress, all the dark veggies, they carry nutrients that are going to combat stress. Vitamin B's, magnesium, vitamin C and E. They're wonderful. You could make smoothies. So you could blend green veggies with some fruit, for example, or you could juice them if you have a good juicer. But the simplest way is to really get a great salad going and throw in your favorite green veggies in there. Mix it up a little bit with a good dressing, some maybe tomatoes, maybe some nice goat cheese or sheep cheese, and maybe some steak or chicken on top. And you got a really great salad, which will be super nutritious. Grass-fed meat. Okay, so again, a lot of meat, a lot of animals are fed corn and processed GMO food. So you want to stay away from that type of product. You want to shoot for grass-fed meat if possible. So places where you can get grass-fed meat would be somewhere like Whole Foods, for example. But other places, even Mariano's at this point, will carry grass-fed as well as Trader Joe's. Grass-fed dairy, same thing. Okay, you're looking for dairy that doesn't have hormones. That an animal has been fed a decent diet, a natural diet versus a corn-fed diet. Pastured raised eggs, excellent. Okay, so excellent in terms of offering you great fat, but also the various minerals and sulfur, vitamin B's, choline, very nutritious for the brain, feeds your mood, it makes you feel great. Again, you're looking for pasture raised eggs. Those can be found at any grocery store at this point, and you want to make sure that you're buying a quality product. Now we're going to talk about mind and soul. How do we take care of the mind and soul? So what is your mind actually doing on a daily basis? So the average person has about 12 to 60,000 thoughts per day. And of those thoughts, 80% are actually negative. So that is a humongous number. And you may think like, wow, when do I even have time to think about so many thoughts, right? They're mostly unconscious. You're really going through this habitual way of sort of ruminating and looping, and you are most of the time not even aware that you have these repetitive thoughts. So they say it's 95% of these same thoughts are really happening each day. So again, you're sort of stuck in this loop. And as I said, they're unconscious. So oftentimes it's very difficult um, to prevent, to stop them. So you can't really do too many thought stopping exercises when it comes to these thoughts because they are oftentimes unconscious. Our minds often ruminate on the past and the future. So rarely are we ever in that present moment that allows us to breathe, that allows us to feel safe, that allows us to feel relaxed. Oftentimes we think about the past, which can oftentimes traumatize us. We'll bring up feelings that may be negative. Our minds naturally latch on to these negative feelings versus positive feelings. And then we also think about the future, which often will bring up feelings of anxiety, because we're anticipating a certain event to happen. So very rarely are we ever in that state of, mindfulness, a state of being present in that present moment. So mind work, what can we do to sort of come back to ourselves and come back to that present moment and stay in the flow, and stay, really in that concentrated mood, concentrated state of being? So listening to soothing music, for example, tons of YouTube channels right now. You could literally just type in soothing music for meditation. Um, you'll get so many different stations. You just get so many different YouTube channels that offer soothing music that will definitely help you. You can put that on when you're studying. You can put it on when you're trying to concentrate. Very helpful. You could also read a book. So right now, with this expansion of information, social media, instant gratification of information that's coming your way, very short clips that you're watching, your mind is constantly craving um, sort of this ever-changing environment uh, that social media has provided us with, which has many benefits, but also has a lot of negative consequences. So just really sitting down and reading a book is something that can bring some focus back into your life. Learning an instrument. So learning to play an instrument will actually condition your mind to focus. It balances both of the hemispheres of the brain to allow you to become more focused and concentrate on the task that you need to accomplish. So maybe picking up guitar or piano. Um, Violin is great. So any instrument that will allow you to build some coordination between the two hemispheres of your brain. And finally, meditation and mindfulness. So, meditation and mindfulness are both great tools. They allow you to begin exploring your consciousness, but also exploring your thought patterns. Really sitting down and focusing on your breath will allow you to detach from your mind and from the processes of your mind. And it really gives you that break that you need away from sort of processing. So, with mindfulness, you'll find a lot of different techniques. We'll talk a little bit about breathing. We'll talk about guided meditations. Very powerful tools that are very effective against stress. Soul work. So your soul is also calling out for you to sort of introspect, right? So some of the soul work that's out there that you can do, you can practice, depending again on what you believe, your religious nominations, and really just what you feel intuitively would be helpful. So, for example, prayer is very therapeutic. So, if you are someone who partakes in religious experiences, let's say in a Catholic church or any other church, prayer will be very effective. We discussed meditation, right? So looking deep into your soul, doing soul work through introspection and meditation. Contemplation, same thing. It's going to be very much about looking inward, finding out what's important in your life, sort of moving away from the distractions of the external world and coming back to yourself. Journaling, a very effective way to process the day. So some students love to journal at the end of the day because it will help them process what had happened and maybe get a different perspective on the day. And, with processing, it's so effective because you're able to sort of understand what had happened during the day and be able to work through it versus sort of taking that energy into the next day. Ceremonies. So again, this could be any ceremony that you come up with that will have a soothing, therapeutic effect. So something like even, a bonfire outside of your house. Maybe you wanted to throw in some sage in there, and maybe you wanted to, burn an affirmation that you've written down on a paper, any type of ceremony that will allow you to feel connected with your inner self. Same with rituals. Those are going to be things that make you feel connected, that make you feel soothed. And those could be really anything ranging from, Native American sweat lodges to, a mass at a church. Something that you come up with on your own is also super effective. Chanting. So very powerful tool. Again, depending on your religious experience, you may already have had an experience with chanting, but it does come from more of an Eastern tradition. And so different ways of chanting, you can Google online and you can find different chants that you could practice, and very soothing again for your body, mind, and soul. Breathing exercises. We're going to go over some breathing exercises today, but breathing's super important and it really alleviates a lot of the stress that you are going to be facing. Altruism and giving. So there's studies on that where folks that are more giving and are more altruistic are happier. So giving, maybe volunteering your time at a domestic shelter, violence shelter, maybe at a shelter for pets that have been left behind. Anywhere where you can offer, maybe a soup kitchen, offer your help would be great. We talked a little bit about benefits of meditation. So again, meditation can relieve stress and anxiety. So attending college can be quite stressful. Increased focus. People who practice meditation have higher attention spans and cognitive flexibility, actually. It does improve your memory. Enhance short-term memory. You will be less distracted. And also you'll have improvements in verbal reasoning. And overall, you'll have an increased sense of overall well-being in terms of when you start a practice. So let's start with a deep breathing exercise. Remember, the deep breathing will alter pH of your blood, so it alkalizes the blood and lowers blood pressure. So these are some of the benefits. Reduces the production of harmful stress hormones, and then stimulates the vagus nerve. So again, we talk about the vagus nerves being connected to your brain. It's like sort of like your it's that gut brain connection, and so that will lower your stress response and kind of get you out of that fight or flight response. So I'm going to put in some soothing music here for you. We're going to just breathe in for 5 seconds. Then we're going to hold the breath for 5 seconds. And then we're going to breathe out for another 5 seconds. And then we're going to repeat that 3 times. So again, you're taking a breath in. Holding the breath for 5 seconds now. And then you're breathing out for 5 seconds. Again, breathe in. Hold. And breathe out. And we're going to do this 3rd time. We're going to breathe in. Hold the breath. And breathe out for 5 seconds. Perfect. So this exercise you can do often. You can do it right before an exam, for example. Let's say you're feeling really stressed out in the morning of the exam. You can sit there and you can breathe in for 5 seconds. You can increase the time to 10 seconds or even 20 seconds. So it all depends on your body and on your preference. Um, and the more often you do this, you're going to really experience great benefit. You're going to feel relaxed. You're going to feel the serene, peaceful energy come over you. And you're going to be really prepared and focused and ready to concentrate when you're taking that exam after this breathing exercise. So it's quite wonderful. Now we're going to go through a guided technique for mindfulness breathing. It's about 5 minutes. And we're going to just sit back and we're going to listen to this recording. It's actually a recording by me, but the script was written by Shalab Mergan, PhD.
Start by settling into a comfortable position and allow your eyes to close or keep them open with a softened gaze. Begin by taking several long, deep breaths, breathing in fully and exhaling fully. Breathe in through your nose and out through your nose or mouth. Allow your breath to find its own natural rhythm. Bring your full attention to noticing each in-breath as it enters your nostrils, travels down to your lungs, and causes your belly to expand. And notice each out-breath as your belly contracts and air moves up through the lungs, back up through the nostrils or mouth. Invite your full attention to flow with your breath. Notice how the inhale is different from the exhale. You may experience the air as cool as it enters your nose and warm as you exhale. As you turn more deeply inward, begin to let go of noises around you. If you are distracted by sounds in the room, simply notice them and then bring your attention back to your breath. Simply breathe as you breathe, not striving to change anything about your breath. Don't try to control your breath in any way. Observe and accept your experience in this moment without judgment, paying attention to each inhale and exhale. If your mind wanders to thoughts, plans, or problems, simply notice your mind wandering. Watch the thought as it enters your awareness as neutrally as possible. Then practice letting go of the thought as if it were a leaf floating down a stream. In your mind, place each thought that arises on a leaf and watch as it floats out of sight down the stream. Then bring your attention back to your breath. Your breath is an anchor you can return to over and over again when you become distracted by thoughts. Notice when your mind has wandered. Observe the types of thoughts that hook or distract you. Noticing is the richest part of learning. With this knowledge, you can strengthen your ability to detach from thoughts and mindfully focus your awareness back on the qualities of your breath. Practice coming home to the breath with your full attention. Watching the gentle rise of your stomach on the in-breath and the relaxing, letting go on the out-breath. Allow yourself to be completely with your breath as it flows in and out. You might become distracted by pain or discomfort in the body, or twitching or itching sensations that draw your attention away from the breath. You may also notice feelings arising, perhaps sadness or happiness, frustration or contentment. Acknowledge whatever comes up, including thoughts or stories about your experience. Simply notice where your mind went without judging it, pushing it away, clinging to it, or wishing it were different, and simply refocus your mind and guide your attention back to your breath. Breathe in and breathe out. Follow the air all the way in and all the way out. Mindfully be present moment by moment with your breath. If your mind wanders away from your breath, just notice without judging it, be it a thought, emotion, or sensation that hooks your attention, and gently guide your awareness back to your breathing. As this practice comes to an end, slowly allow your attention to expand and notice your entire body, and then beyond your body to the room you are in. When you're ready, open your eyes and come back fully alert and awake. The breath is always with you as a refocusing tool to bring you back to the present moment. Set your intention to use this practice throughout your day to help cultivate and strengthen attention.
All right, everyone. I hope that that was relaxing and peaceful for you. This is the end of our presentation. I'd like to thank you for your attention. And I'm sharing my email here for you. If you do have any questions, I can be contacted at sylviastark@triton.edu. Thank you and have a wonderful day.